Hi beauties, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm finally getting the chance to try out the KVD Good Apple foundation. You guys know this was very hyped up foundation, and I'm probably the last person to film a review on it because I could never get my hands on my shade. I was perusing Ulta yesterday and saw that they had my shade. They were sold out of so many other shades, but I think this was the last one in my shade. So I'm going to try this out and complete this makeup look that you see me wearing right now and give you guys my first impressions of this foundation. So if you'd like to find out more, then just keep watching. So I'm coming to you guys with a full face of makeup on because I'm a distracted YouTuber today. I forgot to plug in my sound, me and sound. So the beginning of this video is going to be me using the camera's audio. So when you watch me apply this makeup, it's going to sound very different than what it sounds like right now. So I've had this foundation on for a couple of hours and I'm not going to spoil it for you and tell you guys my first impressions just yet. I'm going to let you guys watch me apply this as well as the rest of my makeup look, and then I'm going to pop back in and give you guys my first impressions. So let's go ahead and get started. So I did go ahead and hop up and get the KVD Lock-It setting powder. This is the golden shade, and I did used to really love this powder. I purchased the shade Tan 66, and to be honest guys, there were so few shades at Ulta. When I saw this shade, I remembered that when I was thinking of purchasing it, this was the shade that I thought would work for me. Of the shades that were available at my Ulta, this was the closest match to me. So we'll see how this works on my oily T-zone, and maybe this will help someone who has oily skin out there. I'm going to use this Bobbi Brown primer. This is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base. It is good for oily skin, so I'm hoping that it will help, you know, keep me from getting oily with this foundation. So if you are a person who is prone to oily skin, I would recommend, you know, using a more mattifying primer. I'm going to also apply my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer a little bit here in my T-zone. You know, this is something I would normally use. I really hate to open this because it's so pretty. Like, look at how pretty the compact is. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit so we can take a closer look here. I've watched other reviews and people say to apply a small amount. This is the Fupa series, and I think this one is number 3, but I will link it down below. It's a liquid foundation brush and it is dense. So I'm going to start off with that, and I also have a beauty blender so that we can blend it out with the beauty blender on one side and the brush on another side. Another side? There's only one other side. I hate to mess it up. All right, let's take a little bit. And I do have a few blemishes to cover, so let's see what it does. Oh my God. I only took the smallest amount. They were right. Okay, let's just blend with that. Let's just work out that little bit. Wow. And the shade match is not bad. You guys know, if you've been with me for a while, I tend to go a little lighter with my foundation shades. And then I bronze the skin to deepen my skin tone a little. Oh my gosh. I dipped in, like, I did 2 little swipes, I think. The smallest amount. Okay, just look. You can tell there's not much disturbed there. And it did half my face. And I know it's lighter, but it will be okay once I bronze the skin. I look like the Joker right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. First off, the coverage is amazing. Wow. Do you guys see this? Okay. Wow. Okay. So now let's go in with the Beauty Blender. I'm just so excited because this little balm should last forever. All right, let's just scoop off a little bit here. That one little bit. Let's just see what this does. Oh my gosh. Again. I don't know how to only put a little bit on. I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know. How do you do that? You know, they say, oh, don't, just build it up, just small amounts. How? Okay, it is blending out with the Beauty Blender. You know, I wondered, because it's a balmy consistency, how hard or easy would it be to blend with my Beauty Blender, but it's blending out. Wow. I'm looking at my eyebrows and how I hardly have any brows and I don't have any lashes. I have a lot of hair on my head, thank God. But here, I'm missing hair. I'm like that naked mole rat with no hair, or that cat that doesn't grow hair. I digress. Okay, wow. This is the Beauty Blender side and the brush. I kind of like the Beauty Blender, the glow I'm seeing over here. I like that. So let's go over this side with it as well. I also want to take my brush back over everything too. Let's just make sure everything is blended here. I think this definitely is a full coverage product, but I didn't put on a lot. Even though I looked like I had a lot on in the beginning, but I kind of blended it out. I think you could keep building and even get more coverage, because I can see a few imperfections shining through, but I just don't want to cake on a lot. I don't want to do that. I'm not that much of a full coverage person. So this is about where I would want my coverage to be. This is about right for me. When I touch my face, I'm feeling skin. I don't feel balmy when I touch my skin. It just feels like skin. And it definitely feels quite lightweight, and that's with nothing else on. I'm in my late 40s now. I used to be able to say mid 40s, but I'm in my late 40s. So this is more mature skin, and I don't see it at this point like accenting any of my lines at all. So we'll see. I have definitely got texture on my skin. Like on my forehead, I have texture. I hate it, but I do have texture. And it's looking okay. So I can't wait to see how it turns out. I'm going to put a tiny bit more on my forehead, because I find on my forehead, it's something like I can see the darkness of the top of my forehead sometimes if I don't put enough product there. So we'll put a little bit more there. There you go. Cover it right up. I am kind of blown away. So let's continue, and I will link everything down below that I'm going to apply to my face. So let's go ahead and finish this look, and then I will check in with you guys a little bit later. So on the KVD website, it says, Good Apple Foundation Balm gives you fast, lightweight, full coverage with a fresh matte finish. Fresh matte finish, yep, not flat, not dewy, just right. Skin that looks like skin. It also says it has high performance and is lightweight. Get one and done buildable full coverage that lasts all day and feels like you're not wearing foundation. Quickly cover blemishes and discoloration for an instant confidence boost. It's flashback free, non-cakey, and it lasts all day. They also say that some shades look different in the compact than on the skin. So use the photos of the shade on skin to help you pick the right shade. But you can return within 60 days on the KVD website. This vegan foundation is infused with apple extract and sodium hyaluronate to help nourish and hydrate skin. It's creamy, non-comedogenic, and it minimizes the appearance of pores for a smooth, healthy look. It's best for normal to dry skin. Blend and build to the coverage you want using a beauty sponge or dense foundation brush. Use a patting motion for the fullest coverage. You can use your finger to spot conceal as well. And they suggest that you set the foundation with Lock-It setting powder for oily areas. I do have some thoughts. Using the setting spray has made a huge difference. I use the KVD powder and I have had mine a good minute, but typically I can go back to powder and it's not a big deal. But I just felt like the powder, I don't know, it looked very powdery, and I was quite concerned as I was applying my makeup that it was going to end up being cakey looking. I just couldn't tell where we were going. The powder, even though I tried to use this powder with it because it's the same brand, and I love this powder typically, but I don't know how, I would like to try this foundation balm with a powder that I'm using currently and kind of use all the time now. This is definitely like one of those Lock-It, it's called Lock-It, powders. So I'm just wondering, like in my T-zone area throughout the video, I was just kind of checking myself out thinking, is this gonna look cakey in the end? And then I don't know if you guys can see, like I have dark circles and I have a color corrector over here, but I didn't use it today. And I see them peeping through, which that has nothing to do with the foundation, but I did take the foundation up a little bit and like right in this area. I couldn't tell whether what I'm seeing is just me not applying enough concealer or if anything lifted. I couldn't tell if that was the reason that I was seeing a little grayness here. I couldn't tell if that was a foundation issue or a concealer issue, but it's okay now. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect day, but it's not bad. The foundation still looks skin-like, even though it's covered everything. And it looks a whole lot better like once I set it down with setting spray, because it was just starting to look a little too powdery for my taste. But right now it's beautiful. It looks great at this point. So I'm going to go about my day. I actually have another video to film right now, and then I'm going to run some errands, and I will check in with you guys later and let you see how we're looking at that point. So now again, it's been a couple of hours, so let's talk a little bit about my first impressions. Definitely went on very, very full coverage, but I was able to sheer it out with my brush as well as the beauty blender. I don't necessarily have a preference as it relates to the applicator. The beauty blender looked a little bit more hydrating initially than the brush, but overall at the end of the day they both kind of look the same once I completed the look. So either tool will work fine. I actually wasn't sure the beauty blender would work, so I was really pleasantly surprised to see that the beauty blender blended this out nicely. It's a full coverage product, and I applied it more like medium buildable. Like I built it up to get the coverage that I like, but I didn't want it to eventually get too cakey or anything, so I didn't apply an excessive amount. But I did apply a generous amount to get the look that you see here. But looking at the balm itself, like it looks like I barely touched it. Even though on my face you guys saw it looked quite full coverage. This is wearing quite beautifully. I have had it on for a while, and I'm pleasantly surprised. Like, because I am oily in my T-zone typically, I was expecting to look like a grease bomb. I have touched up a little bit. Like I have like taken my little powder brush and touched up a little, but I haven't applied a ton of powder, and I really didn't need to apply that much to begin with. Like it looked pretty good even without me touching up slightly. The primers that I used, as well as my setting spray, and even the Lock-It powder that was questionable for me in the beginning, those products are products that help makeup stay on your face, and I think that they are definitely helping this foundation out, because I'm not experiencing like super glowiness or a lot of issues at this stage, and I used a lot of products to help me out. So, you know, it says that it's more for normal dry skin, so it doesn't claim to be for us combo oily skin people. So if it does perform well at the end of the day, then that is saying something. Definitely feels quite lightweight. Like I don't feel like I have anything heavy on my face. It is wearing very light, and it just feels like my skin when I touch my face. I'm not feeling like sticky, creamy makeup on my face. It doesn't feel makeup-y at all. And I'm not sure how this is going to translate on camera and how it's going to look to everyone else, but it looks quite nice to me. It looks pretty nice to me. So far, I am impressed by this foundation, and we will see as the night goes on if I continue to be impressed. I'm going to wear this several more hours and try to be active. I'm going to try not to touch up anymore between now and the next time I check in with you guys, so that you can kind of see what it looks like at that point. So I will check in with you all in a little bit. So I'm back, and I've had this on for about 8 hours now, and I'm ready to take it off. It is still light outside, although it is about 8 o'clock at night, and I'm ready to get this off my face. I didn't touch up after I mentioned I would not touch up again. I ate. I've been out and about. I've been active in my home this evening. This is what it looks like after all of that activity, and it is definitely very dewy. Very, very dewy, but it hasn't broken apart, even though it looks quite shiny. So let's go ahead and blot because I just can't take it any longer. Let's see what happens if I take a paper towel and just blot a little. Oh, not much of the makeup is coming off. I don't know if you guys can tell that, just a little bit. But I can see the print from the paper towel on my face. Okay. Definitely is leaving a little print. So this is about what came off from blotting. So some of it did transfer, but not too bad. And this is what it looks like just from blotting. Okay, not bad. On a normal day, I would definitely use blot powder or blot at some point during the day. So it's not uncommon for me to do that in order to keep the shine down. However, there are foundations out there that don't get shining that much. So they do exist. There are some foundations that I have worn that don't tend to make me oily. So this is oily, but at least it's still on my face. So let me just take my beauty blender. It is not really that damp anymore. I'm just gonna kind of do this since I saw like marks from the paper towel. I just want to kind of get rid of that. So that's what we look like without any powder touch-up. I'm gonna take the KVD powder, but I'm gonna take like the smallest amount because it just seemed a little cakey-ish in a way, and I don't know, with this foundation I don't want to put on too much in case it does kind of make it look cakey. So let's just take a little bit and dust it all over. So this is what I look like after 7 or 8 hours of wear, and I have refreshed my makeup using blotting as well as powder. I feel like this foundation has a lot of potential because you don't have to use that much, and I got very good coverage. I really did like how it looked. The shade match I felt was really good for me. It's a neutral undertone, and it might have looked a little light when I applied it initially, but typically that's around what I like for my foundations to look like. That way I can highlight the center of my face and bronze and contour and get the perfect finish. So I actually really liked this shade and hoped that it would work for me, and it did. As far as the oil production, I'll need to wear it in different situations to see if I can improve that, but it clearly stated that it's for people with normal and dry skin. So I am kind of, you know, stretching it, knowing that I get oily in my T-zone even trying to wear this product. So it's like, it's okay if it is a little bit oily because it doesn't claim not to be. I'll have to blot and apply powder and just touch up during the day to keep the oil production down. But overall, this is still very good given the fact that it's not really meant for my oily T-zone, because some foundations will totally break down and break apart on your face and you can't even tell that it's still there. But this is still holding up, and I don't think it accented any of my lines or any of that, or any of the texture on my skin, like not the foundation itself. Some of the powder was questionable in the beginning, but the foundation itself looks nice. I'll have to continue to wear it, but my first impressions are really, really good, and I can totally understand what all the hype was about. So that concludes my demo / review first impressions of this KVD Good Apple foundation. I'm happy that I was finally able to try it out and give you guys my thoughts. So thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will respond. And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button before you leave. So I'll be seeing you guys again very soon in my next video. So until the next time we meet again, this is Savvy signing out.